4-year career at Cleveland State. You guys are in the NCAA tournament. And before you actually get started overseas, you have a really interesting experience with the NFL. Why don't you kind of talk to us a little bit about what that experience was like, how it came to be, and whether or not it impacted your career in a negative or positive way, at least in terms of the start?
Okay, yeah. So we double back. Yeah. So at the time when that happened, we was in the NCAA tournament. It was 2009, and the commentators were saying like he's built like Antonio Gates. He got the same good hands and blah blah blah. And it was just like hearsay because at the moment I never really was the guy to pay attention to the media or was in the lights anyway. Like I always stayed low key. But we ended up beating Wake Forest and then going to second round of the NCAA tournament. And then we got put out by Arizona. And the second we got put out, we got home, we got a celebration or whatever for, because we achieved something huge for a mid-major school. A lot of mid-majors are doing it of late. But yeah, we was one of those mid-majors that was a Cinderella type story. But then not shortly after, the phone was ringing. It was NFL agents calling me, teams interested. ESPN did a quick hot seat with me. It came so quick. Like I was saying, at 22, 23 years old, I wasn't really ready for it. My heart was really set on basketball. But it's like if the NBA and the NFL come knocking, as a kid, this is a big entity. So before I know it, I had my own pro day at Cleveland State. Cleveland State opened up the soccer field. We had a dome on the soccer field. Opened up the soccer field so I can have a pro day with like between 16 and 20 teams. Came out and put me through a typical pro day of testing. Your 40s. What is that? Pro shuttle, catching some balls. And a funny story about this, now that I'm thinking about it, because I ended up going to the Jets undrafted. We made a deal during the draft, but the tight end coach, Coach Devlin, was there, and he was kind of getting me familiar with like the passing tree and all this other stuff. And then also in Green Bay, I don't know what coach this was there, but I had a quarterback that I was practicing with leading up to the pro day. So he's throwing me balls, whatever, I'm catching everything. And the coach from Green Bay was like, nah, that's not how I was going to be in the NFL. So he lines me up like 10 yards away and told me like to face the opposite way. When he said hit, I got to turn around and catch the ball. I wasn't expecting, I dropped the first pass because he threw like a 90 or 100-mile missile at me. I wasn't expecting it. Hit me in the hands, almost broke my pinky. And then I went on to catch, 9 out of 10 after that because I adjusted. And then the coach from Coach Devlin was like, I don't know what's this guy problem throwing these missiles at you. Like what was he trying to prove? But anyway, that went on, entered into the draft, didn't get drafted, made a deal with the Jets to sign with them as an undrafted free agent. And yeah, the story is that, well, the truth is that I lasted the whole training camp with the Jets. They wanted me to come into the practice squad, but I don't know if you're familiar with the process during the training camp or during the preseason. You have to cut the team down to 53-man roster. And so you get to carry, I think, 8 more on the practice squad, but you have to release them first. And so they were saying, like, we want you on the practice squad, but we got to release you because we need to make this 53-man roster. And so during that little break, it was maybe even a day, the Browns called me. So I went over to the Browns and did a tryout. At this time, I was already like, do I really want to play football? And I know it's crazy because if you're thinking like financially, it's a blessing, you know, coming from, you know, basically almost nothing, lower middle class. But yeah, I was thinking more so like, can I do this? Can I really do this for the rest of my life or the time that I can do it? So at this time, I was kind of like out of it. And I kind of went through the motions when it came to the Browns workout to come back on. And at this point, if a team pick you up, they got to sign you to the 53-man roster because we already late in the preseason. And so the owner sent me down, I forget the owner's name at the moment. He after the workout, he called me into his office and he said, "All right, tell me the truth. What's going on with you?" And I'm like, "What you talking about?" You know? And he's like, "You telling me that you was better before you had a whole training camp of preparation? I just don't buy that. Like after being prepared for all these many months, you performing worse in a tryout than you did when you had no, you know, preparation from the team." And you know, I was just like, "I'm not really feeling it, whatever." And he was like, "You know, yeah, go home, get your mind right, and call me when you're feeling good or whatever what you want to do." And so I maybe came home for 12 hours, if that, and Green Bay called. And so at this time, I'm like, I had a, you know, personal talk, reality check with myself. And I was just like, okay, I'm not going to quit on myself. If I'm going to walk away from it, then, you know, it's going to be not because I didn't perform to the best of my ability. And I went to the Jets, not the Jets, Green Bay, try out, creamed the workout, and, you know, they goes to the top office or whatever, have a meeting for about 10, 15 minutes. It wasn't long at all. He came back down and said, "Look, we're going to sign you to the 53-man roster." And then at that same moment, I had a call from my mom, and she had carpal tunnel, both her wrists. And so she had to have surgery on the same time. And if she had surgery on both her wrists at the same time, she was not going to be able to do anything at the house. So I was like, yeah, this is the case, send me home. And they was like, "You serious? Like, what's going on?" And I was like, "No, I'm going to go home and be with my mom." And then after that, you know, I just never followed back up. I went back to basketball. So that's the truth of the story. It's a lot of rumors out there, like a lot of rumors. But that's the truth how I walked away.
Hello, and thanks for watching. Be sure to give the video a like, and you can watch more videos over here. You can also click subscribe over here so you're notified when we have new content here on Expat Hoops.